Hello and welcome back to Core Finance in association with the Next Exchange. I'm joined today by Noel Lyons, CEO of Karoon Energy. Thank you very much for coming onto the show today. Would you mind just explaining to our viewers and investors just a little bit of a history about Karoon and where you operate and how you make your money, most importantly?
Okay, well, thank you. It's good to be here, and I always relish the opportunity to talk about Karoon Energy. We're a UK PLC listed on the NEX exchange, but our assets are based in Botswana. We have 6 licenses in Botswana, all for gas. 4 of them are for shale gas, and the other 2 are for coal bed methane, CBM. And we've been operating in Botswana now for the last 4 years, almost 5 years, we're very happy with the way the progress is going on the ground in Botswana.
And with regards to these licenses, what stage are you at? You mentioned obviously 6 licenses. Are you at the point of drilling at the moment in any of those?
No, so we're at the very early stage. So the licenses were issued. So we focus mainly on the shale gas licenses. And the licenses were issued in 2 years ago now, just 2 years ago. So we've done the first 2 years of a 4-year work program on each of those 4 licenses. So we're 50% of the way, but actually the main work program is centered on the second 2 years, the second half of the license program. So the major work is underway, or is about to start at the moment. And that work really consists of verifying the data that we've accessed already and coming to an estimated resource of the gas we have in the ground. That's our target for the rest of this year.
And timescales, you mentioned the rest of this year. Are you expecting that to come through by the end of 2017?
No, I would say when I say the rest of this year, it's the rest of the license year, which ends in June 2018. So we will, we're very optimistic that within the next 3 to 6 months we will have estimated resources on the 4 shale gas licenses.
And obviously you'll be updating the market as and when they come through.
We will give a running commentary on the work we're doing, when we're doing it, what the results are. Obviously they need to be independently verified before we come to a resource number, but we have the partners to do that.
And you mentioned 6 licenses. Do you think that will expand, or will you focus in on these licenses and obviously as and when they expire look to renew if that is necessary?
I think it's important for your viewers to understand, and any current or potential investors to understand, that when I say 4 licenses, they cover an area of 150,000 square kilometres. So it's probably the biggest shale gas project in the world at the moment, far bigger than any of the individual projects in the US, for example.
Well, that's huge. I mean, from a geographic scale, that's incredible.
It's enormous, and it's in a basin. It's in the Karoo Basin, and the Karoo Basin in South Africa has estimated resources, significant estimated resources of shale gas. I don't want to quote numbers because I can't really get them independently verified, but they're significant, and we're expecting to follow on the same, because it's the same basin. In fact, not only is it the same basin, but in Botswana, which is further inland on the continent of Africa, it looks like, based on the information we have to date, that the geology is even more mature, and that we're coming across what are referred to in geology terms as marine shale. And marine shale is an incredibly positive sign when it comes to exploring shale gas.
Good stuff. Well, good luck with that. Would you look to move from an exploration company into a production company? What's the game plan?
We have an even bigger, more ambitious plan than that. We ultimately want to provide electricity. So at the moment, just to give you a summary of how things work in Africa, in southern Africa, Botswana imports a significant amount of their electricity, mainly from South Africa. They do have coal-fired power plants, but they're difficult to run and they're difficult to finance now. People are going more and more towards cleaner sources of energy. They do want to look at solar, but they can only do solar in Botswana if someone like us underpins it with a regular supply of gas. So we're hoping to be assist Botswana to become greener, through our work. And the problem for them is they don't have enough of their own electricity, and they're plugged into this Southern African power pool, which is actually a grid connection between 8 countries in the Southern African area. And they're buying and selling off each other all the time, mainly selling from South Africa into the surrounding countries. So the market is electricity. The market is there. There's an incredible shortage of energy in all of those countries. There's the next door neighbours, Namibia, you have Zambia, you will have Zimbabwe when things settle down there, and that country opens up again. That will be an incredibly interesting market when that happens. So there's a demand for energy, there's a demand for development. In Botswana alone, they have significant copper and iron ore assets in the ground, but the cost of getting them out when you add in the extortionate price of transporting diesel in to run the operation just makes them prohibitive at the moment. So, there's a huge economic but also social impact to what we're doing, and obviously political as well, because it allows Botswana as a country and that region in general to become energy sufficient, and also energy security really matters. So that, and when I say security, I mean that they can guarantee an investor that they're going to have a secure source of electricity for the foreseeable future.
And helping Botswana get to that stage, I assume on the back of that, it helps you with regards to government backing and dealing with officials. And do you find it easy operating in Botswana?
Well, yes, is the answer to that. I mean, they refer to Botswana as the Switzerland of Africa. It's got, it's the world headquarters of diamonds. So De Beers have, been headquartered there for several years now. They have their diamond operation there. So it has one of the highest GDPs for any African country on that continent. It's very stable, politically very stable, socially very stable, and economically very stable. So it's a very, very good place to work from. And if you want to produce something and export it to the surrounding countries, it's the best place to do it from in that part of the world. And politically, we have a very good relationship both with the Ministry of Mines and with the government directly. But when I talk about that relationship is one of sharing information. It's not of us asking them for anything. We share information, they work with us. And I think one of the things that Botswana should be most proud of is that they have a no corruption policy. And when you walk into the Ministry of Mines, there's a sign up saying any attempt to be involved in corruption will be punishable on the spot. We like that way of it, because then it's a fair playing field for everyone. But we are working with the government from the perspective of them developing their energy plan, for the next 5, 10, 20 years. And based on the potential resource that we have, we're a very, very important strategic player in the Botswana energy market.
Well, that's great to hear. Now, focusing on Karoo Energy itself, and can we just talk a minute about the shareholder structure and how you'd like to see that develop over the coming years?
Okay, well, obviously we're a small company. We're a small company with enormous assets, so we're a bit out of kilter. I'm very happy to admit that, and as a result of that, we're actively discussing with various parties the potential to bring in both significant investors and significant technical partners. And those discussions are very advanced. So we do expect to be informing the market in the near future on that front. We need really top grade technical partners to develop out our project. Because not only do we, so at the moment we're looking to establish a resource. The next step is to convert our exploration license to a production license and to start extracting the gas. And then the next step is, in fact, to build a gas-fired power plant in Botswana. So we are actually anticipating all these steps even now. And we're talking to the people who can help us deliver that project.
Understood. I'm not going to press you on any particular names or developments.
I couldn't disclose that at the moment anyway.
And I mean, you've touched on it quite a lot, obviously, about the strategy and the game plan and the roadmap for Karooooo. Can you just briefly point out any key moments that investors should be looking for over the next 12 months? As I say, you've already highlighted some dates, but just to pin those down.
I mean, I think there are going to be three significant developments in the next 6 months. Mm-hmm. One will be probably the announcement of a technical partner, coupled with the announcement of a significant investment partner. Mm-hmm. And I think the third, but probably the most important announcement will be in relation to our estimated resources. And that's within the next 6 months. Mm-hmm. Once we have estimated resources, the game changes, the whole project changes. Yes. Then we're in a different, we have a different set of criteria. Then we're qualified to do, for example, to apply for a production license, to look to do off-takes, it opens up the whole future for us.
Well, lots of, one would hope, positive news flow to come. But in the meantime, Noel Lyons, CEO of Karooooo Energy, thank you very much for joining us here on Core Finance in association with the Next Exchange.
Thank you very much. Thank you.